Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Grumpy Old Gamers podcast. We're not doing an episode of You Can't Teach an Old Gamer New Tricks today. We are doing our predictions for 2024. We have with us, we have Rob, we have
Hello.
we have Damon,
Hey,
and Brent will join us. He's in the corner there as soon as he gets his mic problems figured out. So, yeah, how's everyone doing? I know we've been chatting, so it.
And if there are any audio listeners, he did mean predictions for 2025, but it's been a long day
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah.
because
Did I
we
say?
didn't do
Yeah.
one last year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. At our age, if we tried to do predictions from last year, we'd probably still get half of them wrong,
Yeah.
even though it already went
Yes. Yeah.
past. Yeah.
Well.
All right.
Mm.
Let's go.
Let's just dive right in. Figure it out as we go along.
That's
That's
how we do things.
That's how we do things. So, Rob, why don't you start us off with what was your biggest surprise of 2024?
My biggest surprise of the year should come as no surprise, but it was Balatro.
Oh,
Every year seems to have like an indie darling game. Like last year was, or 2 years ago would have been Vampire Survivor. Before then, probably like Barbie's Dream Camaro, the indie remake of the Game Boy Advance game that we all talk about. But honestly, it was developed by one guy. It's a game that's available on everything. Like there's no pay to win. There's no paid DLC. You buy the game and then you can play it, and it's just one of those games that'll slowly eat up 12 hours a year, 12 hours of your day
very, very
for the rest
easily.
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Balatro. I won't
Excellent.
take up too much because I know we got a lot to go through. So
it's okay. You can talk about Balatro twice as long if you want.
Yeah, we're okay with that.
we're okay. I figured you guys would be. So
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no problems with
Oh.
that. Damon, why don't you go next?
Well, that's why he could talk about it twice as long because I also have it as the biggest surprise of the year.
Nice.
Not expecting it, but I can add on to that. At least on mobile. So, the biggest surprise of the year was Balatro on mobile because it's
Hmm.
I think it's the perfect platform for it. You know, if it's just readily available at any time. There you go, and
Yep.
yeah, and it works fantastically on that. Other than it kills the battery a little bit.
Oh, it does.
Makes
Yeah.
your phone toasty. But that's
Yep.
okay.
I mean, that's part of the greatness and part of the badness of it.
Yeah.
It's that-
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I got 5 minutes to kill. I'm just gonna play a game an
Yeah.
hour later.
Yep. Then it's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
3 runs later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was like so
Well,
close that last run. Ah, okay. I'll just one more.
I'll just do one more.
One
Yeah.
more. It's just one more.
What about you, Ryan? What was your biggest surprise?
It's not Balatro.
That's good because
Yeah,
someone
that
has
would've-
to say something different.
Yeah. For me, it was the Concord debacle.
Mm.
I don't know. Like it really.
Yep.
It just struck me as so weird. Like, you know, it was getting kind of mediocre previews, and then when it came out, it didn't sell at all.
Yep.
Like, and concurrents they were saying online were just horrible.
You were in the dozens.
Yeah.
Like I think it got up to 200 at its highest.
Yeah. So, but it was, I mean, that part was surprising. You know, sometimes a game just needs a little spark to catch on. But Sony didn't even give them a chance to do that. 2 weeks after, they shut everything down, started offering refunds to everyone who bought it. And then a month later, when they said they're gonna figure out what to do with Concord, they kind of like took it back. And I mean, everyone was thinking they'd make it a free to play game because that was, you know, in this market, that's kind of how the direction they should have went, and that
Yeah.
a lot more people would have tried it.
Yeah.
So everyone, I read lots of speculation that that's what they would do. Like they just bring it out as a free to play game, add some loot boxes or whatever they whatever they're going to do
Mhm.
to make that happen. And they did the exact opposite. They shut that studio down and said Concord is dead,
Yep.
just
Yeah.
done. And that
No Man's Sky, no
no,
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
2077, no redemption arc. Just
no,
yeah.
Nope. It's
no.
just gone.
And yeah, like you know, hundreds of millions of dollars were spent
Yeah.
on this game.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if something like that is from like in the past couple of years, like a lot of movie studios and stuff have been like shuffling and revamping, and it's actually happened a couple times that I've for sure heard of where they've decided to just can movies instead of releasing them,
Yeah.
fully finished movies. There was a Batgirl, which people were saying was actually going to be pretty decent, just canned. No one ever, just gone, erased. And also a Looney Tunes movie. I think it was
That's right.
Acme versus Wile E. Coyote.
That's right.
Yeah, and Will Forte was the star of it, and he's been on record saying it like he, he thought he was pretty proud of it. Like,
What a great premise too. Wile E. Coyote suing the Acme company.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and just canned. Like it was
Yeah.
cheaper. Apparently, it was cheaper tax wise for them to do that than to try and release it. So, oh,
That almost
Brent?
sounded like
Brent,
Brent's
we
voice.
hear air.
I have audio now?
Hey!
Oh my god. Yay. It was the permission settings in Windows that was blocking my microphone.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Ladies
care.
and gentlemen, Brent George.
Yeah.
I still don't have video, but you know what? This is good enough.
We're gonna take what we can get here, Brent. That's
Yep.
At least we can hear you. So
Yay.
you came in at just the perfect time
Yeah.
too, because what was your biggest surprise of the year, Brent?
Hang on. You just
Caught you off guard by just going right to you, but
I know, it's just like boom.
literally came in at just the perfect time for that. So
Yeah. I was more focused on trying to get in. Actually my biggest surprise of the year was that all the Switch 2 leaks were right. And like, I mean, not like, leaks and then, oh, well, this wasn't the same, that wasn't the same. They were all spot on. And just like, it was just kind of shocking to see leaks that were actually real and pretty much spot on for the system too.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean,
Yep.
I think we've all, by this time in our lives, have learned to take leaks with a grain of salt. But I mean, they can cause a little of excitement. But yeah. They were totally they were totally bang on.
Yep, no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, so that was my big surprise,
All
especially after I've been going on about it for 4 years now.
I was happier for you than I was for pretty much anyone else in the world, Brent. When it actually launched, I'm like, he's right. It happened.
for once.
Well, all right. So, got through our biggest surprises there pretty quick. What were your biggest disappointments of the year? We'll start with Damon this time. Damon, what was your biggest disappointment of 2024?
So it actually came from Ubisoft, believe it or not. But
It's not hard to believe.
it's not hard to be disappointed by Ubisoft. But remember Skull and Bones?
Oh yeah.
Remember
Oh,
what
yeah.
that was supposed to be?
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that bummed me out. It's they already had the formula ready to go. They already had the gameplay ready to go, and like a decade ago, in Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is just a better game altogether.
True.
Yeah, but just removing the ability to like get off the boat and just like it got ubied.
Oh.
Yeah, they ubied it. So
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brent, what was your biggest disappointment of 2024?
Uh, PlayStation as a whole, and I know that's going to be really weird coming from me, but it was like it's just like the roadmap is all over the place if they even have one. You know, they kind of went whole hog and were literally pushing people out of the company that didn't want anything to do with their live service, future. And now they're canceling all the live service games, shutting down studios, and they're just a total mess for what I thought would be, a real powerhouse year for PlayStation. And so, yeah, that was a kind of a huge disappointment for me because, even though we're, close to only a year or two away from a normal console's life cycle, I would have thought they would have been hitting a little harder by now. I mean, they did have some good games, Spider-Man and several others. I won't even go there about Concord because we've already touched on that. But
Oh, it won't be the last time either.
yeah. But and Marathon, where is Marathon? Even though it's not the original Marathon game,
Yeah.
I was kind of looking forward to that one. They have not talked about it, not a word, not a peep.
Well, Sony did
yeah.
also axe a whole bunch of people at Bungie. So I mean,
Yes, they did.
Right.
And
yeah.
they disappointed.
they took I don't misquote the name, but it was Shohei Yoshida. They took him off of lead for games and basically shoved him down to the indie game stuff because he wanted nothing to do with the live service games. And then he actually retired just a few days ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Retired, quote unquote. Yeah.
Retolded.
Yeah.
Yeah, retolded. Returtle. But
Awesome.
yeah, so that was my big disappointment.
My biggest disappointment of 2024 is Game Pass.
Oh,
Yeah.
scandalous.
Scandalous, right?
Ooh.
Yeah,
My,
just
my.
the lack of title releases. Like I logged in today before we came in. Since Indiana Jones came out, and that was early December. I guess I didn't look at console Game Pass, but I just looked on PC. On PC Game Pass, there's been 5 other new releases since, what was that, the second week of December? And that's kind of the trickle that's been happening. I was really, with this generation, I was ready to throw it all in on Xbox. And things seemed like they were buying all these awesome studios, and like they just really seemed like things were coming up Xbox. And I mean, like I I did Game Pass this year, I think, for 4 months out of the year, like 2 at the very beginning of the year, and then the past 2 months I've had it, and honestly, I can say I don't think I've missed much else. So, yeah, Xbox Game Pass, my biggest disappointment of the year. And lastly,
Gotcha.
Rob, what do
So
we got?
I got 2 quick ones. The one we've already touched on many times was Concord.
Mm-hmm.
Launching with a $40 price point in a free to play market that's and then just like concurrently 200 people at the best, and then down to like next to nothing. And it was what, 10 days? It wasn't the full 2 weeks that it was on the market available.
Yeah,
to play.
it was really fast. Really
And
fast.
What a wild story.
It was, absolutely is, for the amount of money they lost. It's but my bigger one was the Borderlands movie.
Ooh.
The
oh yeah.
Boy, I had almost no point looking at the trailers, looking at the people they cast for it, like bunch of people who were supposed to be young women who are older than us, and still very capable of acting, but they were just like, Kevin Hart was he's about 3 feet too short for the role. Jack Black was a great claptrap. I thought that was basically the one they nailed it on, right? But yeah, that one hurt and didn't make any money. So I'd say my biggest disappointment of 2024 was the Borderlands movie.
Excellent. Well, not excellent, but yeah.
So you're saying I should watch it on tonight after this?
I'm gonna hate watch it at some point here. Just when it gets down to a really cheap price.
Yeah.
Well, let's after that round of disappointments, let's look at something a little brighter.
Oh yeah.
Games that we're looking forward to in 2025. Brent, why don't we start with you?
Beef. Oh wow. Well, guess what? It's actually a really, really, really short list. There were a few I was looking forward to, and now they've kind of been shuffled around into 2026. So, I'm sorry. Actually, there's two. My big two picks are actually both Xbox games. Is Fable. I love the original Fable. Not so. Two, then the three was just awful. But I love the original Fable, and I'm really hoping they can recapture the spirit of Fable in that. And from a lot of the trailers, I think they're kind of getting there. So really hope they do something with it. Looking forward to Fable. Also, just found out in the last day or two that Avowed will actually have a third-person mode and not just first-person, which actually made me a lot more interested in it. And they said it's gonna hit more like first, over the shoulder, like Gears of War kind of view. But work more like Diablo, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested. More like a serious hack and slash, but with heavy RPG elements. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can be down with that. And of course, the elephant in the room, State of Decay 3. I mean, that would be my biggest hope for 2025 if it materializes. I'm hoping. And that would be it.
Yeah, I'm hoping for you on Fable. Like that's going to be that's a great franchise.
Yeah.
Hope they release in 2025. That'd be great.
Indeed.
Rob, why don't you fill us in next?
Sounds good. So my first set of games are the brand new Amico home launches. We got Finnegan Fox coming up.
How do you kick someone from a call, Damon?
And Finnegan Fox is coming. Did I say Finnegan Fox? I think I did. Maybe Evil Knievel, and they're still saying they swear we're going to get physical controllers anytime soon. They've focused back on it now that the iOS market has been fully tapped for the dozens of people who needed it. They're going back to the controller.
So Rob, we're talking about stuff we're looking forward to, and
yeah,
absolutely.
I thought we were done with biggest disappointment.
They are on the launch pad with that controller.
Have you seen the graphics in Finnegan? Okay, anyway, the real game is Outer Worlds 2. We were talking about that earlier.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to Outer Worlds 2.
Nice.
That's going to be hopefully a really, really good game. And the wild card is Borderlands 4. The window is it could be anywhere between April 2025 and March 2026, according to the Googles. So, yeah, but yeah, Outer Worlds 2 is the big one. That's the one that I will actually come out that I'm looking forward to.
Okay, Damon, how about you?
It's interesting. Sounds like we've all got a lot of Obsidian on the brain for 2025, because I have Avowed as well, but not necessarily for the third person, because Obsidian loves first person. New Vegas, Outer Worlds. Yeah. Anyways,
Yep.
super excited for Avowed, and it's gonna be maybe not surprising, but the Suikoden remasters, Suikoden 1 or
Oh
2
yeah.
are getting
Oh, yeah,
getting the HD upgrade this year. So it was enough that I stopped playing it on the original PlayStation, so that way I could wait for the remasters to come.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely looking forward to those.
Right on.
Awesome. What do I have here? I have Death Stranding 2.
Oh.
I'm being optimistic. I recently read that Hideo Kojima had mentioned that they're in crunch time, so hopefully that,
That narrows it
means-
down to 5 years or
Yeah.
so for Kojima. But
Another one is actually Subnautica 2.
oh yeah, okay.
It's due to
Okay.
come out in
Yeah, that's
2025. I love the first one. Like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great game. And
How are you with jellyfish jump scares? Were you were okay with those? Or?
I was okay with those.
Okay, right on.
Especially when you're swimming through the kelp, and then
Ah.
a shark jumps out at you when you're swimming through the kelp. Yeah. And lastly, Marvel 1943: The Rise of Hydra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we haven't seen any gameplay yet. It's a untested studio. Skydance Studio are the ones putting it out. Skydance Media, mostly known for their movies and television, but they've moved into video games. So,
Okay.
but I love me a story about Captain America and the older Black Panther in 1943. That yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, this is the real fun part. The predictions.
This is I look forward to this every year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take a volunteer. We're gonna start with Sony. Your predictions for Sony. Who wants to go first with their Sony predictions?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, David. You go ahead.
All right, I'll go first. I think we'll see a price drop on the PS5 this year, and if that happens, I'll buy one.
That's the second prediction? Is that you
Yeah.
buy one?
Yeah, I'll buy one. Yeah.
Right on. Right
But-
on.
But also with Sony, I think they're gonna do what everybody else with the handhelds done and do an OLED portal. I think that's
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
the natural progression. I think we'll see one of those. So.
Good call. Good call. You know what? I'll go next. How about that? So after a lackluster 24 for first-party games, we see a slew of first-party games announced and released in 2024. And by slew, I mean 3 to 4.
Okay. Okay.
And this one's kind of a funny one. Sony announces a Semi-Pro, a console a bit more powerful than the current one, but cheaper than the Pro.
That would be awesome if you
Right?
get that one.
Semi-pro.
Yeah, that's what I've got for Sony.
Okay.
Rob, you want to go next?
Absolutely. So, my way out there one is that there'll be the Portal was the test of the handheld market and the popularity of it. That they're actually going to release a new handheld closer to what the Vita was. And the other one is you'll see more of their big IPs released on PC, including Gran Turismo.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the handheld, Rob, do you think they're gonna do like with the Vita and make just Vita games, or do you think they're gonna make something that plays like current games? Yes.
I'm predicting a remake of the UMD drive.
Mm,
No, I would predict something a little more digital, like maybe going away from cartridges and being able to still do some of the streaming that the Portal does, but having its own games and hardware,
okay.
Yeah, I
like a
it.
standalone. Like, yeah.
Okay.
and that they're going to buy Sega.
Oh, there we go. There it
There we
is.
go. There we go.
Yeah.
Right.
We got to get Sega in there at least once a
Right.
year.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And Brent, lastly but
Alright.
not leastly.
Um, so I think with major first-party titles that Sony may suffer a little bit for the next year or two. I mean, there are rumors that both Sony and Xbox are trying to beat each other to the punch with their next gen console, but like within the next 2 years. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think for first party titles, it'll be like heavy hitters. It'll be much like what you said, Ryan. We might get 2 to 3 in a year, and then have that bolstered with other games. I too think they will also go in on a handheld, because handheld game is becoming huge. I mean, look at the success of the Switch and the Steam Deck, and Sony's not going to let that money sit on the table. So I think they will go with something, hopefully unlike the Portal, because even though it's kind of cool, it looks ghastly. And
Shots
I
fired.
think it'll be shots fired. I think it'll be something slightly more akin to the Steam Deck, but be able to play PS5 games, older games, and even games designed specifically for the portable system. So I think it's going to be a tumultuous couple of years for Sony, but I think they're going to kind of pick themselves up by the bootstraps.
Okay. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
the problem with Sony is they kind of have no need to innovate right now. They're winning this
Yeah.
console generation by leaps and
They are.
bounds. So
Resting on their laurels somewhat still.
yes, that's a much
Mhm.
better way to put it. Um, let's move on to Xbox. Damon, since you are our resident Xbox guru.
Toward the end of this year, maybe even at the Game Awards,
I'm leaning
we
in.
will physically see the Xbox handheld.
Oh.
I think we're going to see it. We actually know that it's been worked on for several years now, and we haven't seen any pictures or anything of it yet.
Yep.
So I think that'll be enough out of the way of the launch window of the Switch 2. And I think they will unveil it because just like they unveiled the Series X and the Series S at the Game Awards, they'll do the same thing this year again. And I'm predicting a full-on handheld gaming PC. And
Mhm.
here's a bonus and perhaps crossover prediction.
Oh.
Yes, that it may also be able to have access to Steam as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Steam and Microsoft.
Yeah, I think there might be a little overlap there.
Okay.
That's my prediction for Xbox this
That's a lot cooler than mine.
year.
So,
Good one.
Damon, we were on the same wavelength with our predictions this year
Okay.
because my first prediction is we finally see the Steam app on Xbox,
Ah, yes. Yeah.
and the second one is we also finally see the handheld. So
Yeah. It's happening. It's happening.
so,
It's all. What other proof does anybody need?
yeah. Rob, what do you got?
Well, I wish I'd thought of that one. This isn't going to happen, but if it did, it would be really cool. I put that Xbox announces either a VR or an AR product, possibly coming out in 2026.
Oh,
Because we've
I like it.
done lots of VR, but not necessarily anything that's AR with a console. I mean that other than the 3DS where you're shooting the aliens when you move the camera around, I guess. But that's sort of AR. Anyway, and the second one was that Xbox will announce a new studio that they're purchasing, a little known Japanese one called Sega.
They might do it.
Rob, you're stealing my predictions from last
I-
from the.
So the Sony one was a joke, but this one I actually put for Microsoft because I thought
Okay.
if anyone would do it, I could see Microsoft doing it.
And while it happens, Phil Spencer will be dressed up like Sonic.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And if this one happens, I will also dress up as Sonic. The podcast afterwards.
I'm going to hold
Awesome.
you to that.
Oh, absolutely! I'll buy the suit myself. I will go buy the suit that day.
Lastly, Brent, what do you got for us?
Well, I'd say we're all kind of in the same ballpark here. I am hoping for an Xbox handheld. Really and truly am. Hoping that they don't go the kind of Portal route, which has been talked about, where it's just going to kind of connect to the console and be streaming. There has been, I won't say concrete proof, but a lot of proof that the next thing they're working on is a hybrid Xbox PC console. Now I'm wondering, is this going to be an actual console, or is it going to be the handheld with Steam on it, and possibly even Epic and other systems on it, as well as being a dedicated Xbox system. So I'm still thinking that this Xbox PC hybrid is going to be a thing, but is it going to be the handheld, or is it going to be an actual console?
Well, they say everything is a console. This is an Xbox.
Yeah, everything is an Xbox.
This
This
is
is
an
Xbox.
Xbox.
This Amazon Fire Stick is an Xbox.
This is an Xbox. Yeah,
Hey, it might just be.
This is an Xbox.
that's an Xbox.
This is an Xbox.
So yeah, that's where I'm kind of thinking they're going to go, and and hopefully with the games lineup that they've got coming out, and maybe a few other tricks up their sleeve, that Xbox is going to be at least a sales leader in games. I don't know about consoles because they've never kind of quite been there, but I'm hoping that I think this is all has to do. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be long-winded on this one. This kind of all has to do with this whole push, that they want to kind of be on PC and they want to have Xbox as well as they want to do the Play Anywhere. I think a PC console hybrid would be a bloody amazing idea, and I could see it working out very well in the handheld.
All right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we had done our episode just a little bit earlier, the next one here would have, we're going to do Nintendo now. And since the last time we got together, Nintendo gave us a trailer.
Can I predict that they're going to launch a Switch 2? Is that still up? Is that still available?
No, sir. Yeah, so we got a reveal trailer, which I mean, at this point, they really kind of had to do. Especially after CES there, and just, they're actually showing off like gear that, cases for the Switch 2, and like,
Yeah.
you gotta.
Worst kept secret in a long time.
Yeah. So, what, like, we can take a few minutes here and just talk about what everybody thought about the trailer. As, I mean, it's finally out. Like, saw the trailer.
It's more of a teaser. It's just
Yeah.
a teaser.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a hardware. What do they call it? A hardware flyby,
Yes.
Yeah.
where they're just saying, here it is. Get out of our hair. We'll tell you more details later. Kind of
The
thing.
Joy-Cons are bigger. Screen's bigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
All the Joy-Con drift.
and
Speaking of drift, they did show what looks to be Mario Kart 9 on the trailer there.
they did, yeah.
Mhm.
Unless it's Mario Kart 8 HD
Yeah.
DLC.
UHD.
Yeah, UHD edition, yeah.
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 I mean, the only thing I hadn't actually heard about from the rumors that Brent pointed out was about
Yeah.
the mouse being in the Joy-Con.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about that?
I mean,
Mar-
the Lenovo
Mario
Legion did it.
Yeah.
Like, and it
That's
was
true.
pretty popular with it. So it's
Who did it? Sorry?
The Lenovo Legion actually has that.
Yeah.
You take off the side, and it's got and it acts as a mouse
Oh,
with the optical sensor on the side, and
Opens up the door for some Mario Paint. That's kind of
yeah, and some first-person shooter
Yeah.
controls, like a better controls would
Much
be
more
great.
accurate first-person shooter controls.
Yeah,
huh.
yeah,
I
but mostly
could
Mario
actually play
Paint.
Yeah, I could actually play House of the Dead.
Oh, there you go.
There you
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, there was. I mean, people were wondering about what this little um, hole was there for, and it had two little lights, and they kind of looked like an optical sensor. And everybody was thinking, okay, maybe it's a mouse. And then and then when the trailer came out, yeah, it kind of does look like they're going mouse-like with it. So it should be interesting to see what. Oh, sorry, the other thing which I forgot to mention to you guys, there was a whole thing that uh, the R1 and L1 buttons would actually be touch sensitive so that you could scroll with them. And I heard about that like almost a year ago. Now that would kind of go in line with the mouse idea if you could
Oh,
actually
yeah.
scroll touch sensitive on that button. So
Yeah.
it's all kind of coming in line.
Interesting.
So, can you guys imagine if they hadn't kind of, well, I mean, they didn't succumb to the pressure because Nintendo doesn't care, but they also gave us the reveal date of it, and it's April.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Here's a look, and then we're going to talk about it again until April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because when I read the date, at first I was like, wait, is that April or February? Because it's like 2/4 or 4/2 or however they worded it, right?
Mhm.
And no, it's April. So
Yep.
man, oh man. But can you imagine if they hadn't done this little teaser? Like I think people would have started turning at that point, right? Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they really
I-
they really had to do something.
Oh, they did. I think the hardware flyby was probably going to come a lot later, and they just had to revise it and kind of get it out there.
Yeah.
Because now, I've seen lots of people in forums and on Facebook. They're like, "Well, why do I need another Switch? Why do I need this? Why do I need that?" And I can see Nintendo doing things the way they did to also avoid another whole Wii U situation. But yeah, they're throwing little bits of information out there now. Like they were saying that it can play, and this is a Nintendo rep said it can play all of your current and future Switch games. So it looks like they are still going to be making a lot of games, original Switch games coming into maybe the next year or two. And then it says, and then select, exclusive Switch 2 games. So, I mean, it almost kind of seems like this is like the Switch Pro that we were hoping for, where we get to play Switch stuff, past and continuing forward, as well as kind of get special games that, play on like a pro level system.
But
They're
in
just
the
wording
trailer
exclusive.
in the trailer there, Brent, it actually said it will play exclusive Switch 2 games and most of your Switch library.
Yeah, I'm thinking, but that's more like what do they call that thing? Like the Labo and like Ring Fit
Oh,
stuff and things like that. Like those things won't work
yeah, okay.
unless they
Okay.
update, the software and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
I mean, the
Okay.
Labo definitely not, but like Ring Fit and some of the boxing games that require stuff that fits in the old Joy-Cons,
Yes. I
probably
see
won't
what you
work
mean.
with this
Okay.
new one. But, yeah.
I wasn't looking at it like
mean-
that. I was being a lot more pessimistic.
Sure.
Like having to do backwards compatibility patches or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Labo comes with extra pieces of cardboard so you can get the bigger Joy-Cons in there.
Yeah.
Nice. And
Yeah.
tape, because you gotta
And tape,
you gotta
yeah.
actually rip your cardboard to fit it.
Nintendo branded red duct tape for the Labo.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there
That's
we
great.
go. Well, I only have one prediction. Just because I've been predicting the Switch 2 for so long, and this little reveal trailer was fine. Yay, you guys admit it.
Yeah, you finally admitted it. Yeah.
But besides Mario Kart 9 or whatever they decide to call it being a launch title, I also predict Odyssey 2. Mario
Oh.
Odyssey
Ooh.
2 as a launch title.
Okay.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah. Brent,
So
oh, go ahead, Damon.
yeah, I was gonna jump in because mine is very close. Unless Brent, do you have any more for your Nintendo predictions?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think honestly, the Switch 2 is going to get off to a bit of a rocky start, not because of the leaks, not because of anything Nintendo is doing, but just a lot of feedback that I'm seeing online from all the different places and sources that I connect with. People are asking, I mean, obviously we need to know why you would need or want to switch to, um, but the way they word their questions is more like the whole Wii U situation all over again. It's like, well, why would I need a Wii U? What else is it going to do for me? And I'm just hoping that Nintendo handles this a lot better, and it seems like they are. Um, but I see the Switch 2, getting off to a bit of a slow and rocky start, and then eventually picking up pace. But I don't think it will have the huge success that the Switch did, unless they kind of really pull out all the stops and start putting out some serious games that people are gonna like, basically system sellers that are gonna really make people want to, step over into the, you know, quote unquote next generation.
I think,
Okay.
Jake, I'm on the opposite side of the fence of that. I think it's gonna sell all the copies. I think the Switch 2 is gonna launch in June. I think that's when we're gonna see it.
June.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
And so the Switch 1 had arguably one of the greatest launch windows. So I don't think all these games I'm going to list here are going to be at launch, but they'll be this year. So I think, just like Ryan said, I think we're going to see an Odyssey 2 or a new 3D
Mhm.
Mario, whatever they want to call it.
Okay.
We're going to see the new Metroid Prime.
Yes.
We're
Oh,
going to
yeah.
see the new Mario Kart.
Mhm.
We're going to see the new Pokemon and
Oh, I
a
forgot.
Mario Paint. If that is a mouse, that's
Oh wow. Okay.
that's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
the shtick.
Yeah.
That everyone's gonna want to go back to Mario Paint because they're gonna Nintendo it and it's gonna be awesome. So that's my Nintendo predictions.
Awesome. Okay. Rob, what do you got?
Boy, mine aren't going to be popular, based on the optimism. First off, I have here that after years of being a media darling, Mario is revealed on Diddy's list that eventually comes out. Um, it's gonna heartbreak. It's gonna heartbreak some people, but it'll make sense. Anyway, the second one, I'm predicting Metroid Prime 4 gets pushed to early 2026
Oh,
Rob,
because it's Metroid Prime and
Rob,
it's gonna break
shut your
all our
whore
hearts.
mouth.
It just seems like it seems to me like there was a big like, we're doing it, here it comes, but it's Metroid Prime 4. Like we've been waiting 30 years for it. Like it's I predict it being just pushed out and not being a launch title, being early 2026. So
they did restart it once already. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'd be more inclined to agree with you, Rob, if we didn't see gameplay already.
oh, we had gameplay of Fable at one point, the new Fable. And Beyond
Killing
Good
my
and Evil
dreams,
2. Speaking of Ubisoft, Beyond Good and Evil 2, there was 12 years ago. There was. So I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I have absolutely
Rob, stop.
nothing to base this on.
Stop it, Rob.
Nothing to base this on. I hope I'm wrong. But Metroid Prime has continued to break Nintendo's hearts for a while. And one thing I'd like to see on the Switch, which is my way out there prediction, a return to some sort of a virtual console, like a shop where you can actually buy old Nintendo games, because what they have right now is the support for it's quickly waning, because it's like, I think we've talked about this many times, Ryan. It's like one Game Boy game every 6 months, and like one. It's like, give us all of them because you have all of them. You're Nintendo.
Yeah.
And $3.99 each, and you pick whichever ones you want, or $5.99 each and pick whichever ones you want. And make everyone happy.
But it's not just all the Nintendo games we can buy. It's all the Nintendo games we can buy again.
Oh, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
we will charge you again, and you'll pay for it because they also had the right to TurboGrafx 16.
Yep.
They had
Yeah.
rights to a whole bunch of stuff, right? So, yeah.
I was actually just reading an article, Rob, not to interject, but that saying that they were actually going to go that route, and they had a company working on it. And then just before the Switch launch, they actually scrapped it in favor of the Switch Online, which came out later.
I mean, that makes sense. I think
They
the
didn't figure
support
out
for
a float, basically.
Well, I mean, the early rumor of the original Switch was that your virtual console games are going to come with you.
yeah. Yeah.
And instead, what they did is they went and they looked at all the most popular virtual console games and said,
Not these ones.
You're not going to get these ones for free. You're going to get all the crap that we had in the back catalog.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's my Nintendo list. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's okay. So is anyone looking forward to the supposed rumored Xbox games that are going to be hitting the Switch too?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
It's another way to
if I
play
can-
them. Sure.
But if I can play Diablo 4 on the Switch, I'd be kind of happy. But and maybe some State of Decay. But they're talking about like COD, the Master Chief Collection, the first couple of Gears of War.
I think Diablo 4 will come to the Switch too.
Yeah,
Like that too,
definitely.
yeah.
I mean, it's out on the other consoles, so.
Yep.
Or I guess it's out on PlayStation and Xbox owns them, so. An Activision studio. Or Activision is an Xbox studio. All right, well, we've actually been doing pretty good. We've been burning through these.
Yeah.
Indeed.
We just have one more category, and that's the other things that didn't really fall under specific titles like Sony, Xbox, or Nintendo. And why don't we start with Rob on this
All
one?
right. So I got 3 ones here. My first is that Half-Life 3 is announced to be released in early 2026.
Shut up. I have. Never mind.
I think Valve is. I think we all agree that after Alex, they're probably working on it, but they just don't ever talk about it. And one day they're going to be like, "Hey, so by the way, you can get it now," and then just walks off the stage.
It's on your PCs already.
It's on your PCs already. We followed the iTunes. So I mean, I'd like to see that, but I mean, everyone would. But the second one is that a full-fledged Steam OS releases this year that you can grab yourself and put on any computer you want. I know there's ways to do that now. You can actually just go to the recovery for Steam Deck, get the OS, and you can install it on things. But it's not the ease of. I'm predicting that at some point you're going to be able to go to a web page, download it as an image, and boot it on whatever you want.
That's
Maybe.
that's an interesting one, Rob, because that might have half came true already. That one. At CES, one of the new handhelds, and I'm gonna say Lenovo, put out a beast of a new PC handheld, and it had the Steam OS on it.
It's running Steam OS. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
non-Steam device running,
Yeah.
or a non-Valve device already running the Steam OS. So
But what I'd like to see is like I have a little desktop, like a 2-generation old video card, and I could just grab it, install it on there, stick it to my TV,
yeah.
and now it's a Steam Deck.
Dude, that would be so
Or-
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because this is a Steam Deck.
And this here's the Steam Deck.
Awesome.
Okay, and my last one. This is my my Hot Ranch prediction. My prediction is after the sales and critical failures of Anthem and Dragon Age Veilguard, EA announces that they're closing BioWare Edmonton.
Dude. Bro.
I don't want it to be true, but
Yeah.
they were, from what I've been hearing, they were planning, like they said they needed to sell something like 40 million copies of this. They were predicting 40 million copies sold because other Dragon Age games had done that, and they sold like 1.5.
Really?
And after Anthem, which
Oh.
another game that I think we talked about probably 3 or 4 years ago as another
Mhm.
appointment. I just see this as like EA is gonna have their share meeting and go, yeah, we need to close them up.
Hmm.
And that'd be heartbreaking because 3 of the people in this room have been in at least 2 of us. I think Damon, you might have been there as well. Yeah, have been in the building.
Yeah.
And can't say anything else other than that.
Yeah.
But it's an Edmonton property. Like it started with a couple of guys in their garage, and it'd be really sad to see it go. But money is money, and EA is going to look at that and go, "You had 2 strikes."
You know, just to share a little story about BioWare. So they used to have a little office above the chapters on White Avenue here in Edmonton. And I remember putting in a fiber internet circuit for them. And I also remember going in and putting in or upgrading so they could get a gig internet circuit for when they were launching Neverwinter Nights. So that, so a gig for their servers. So
I mean, at that time, that was a legendary internet service.
Yeah,
right?
that was quite the feat. So I'm feeling sad already, and it hasn't even been announced.
It hasn't been announced. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my prediction.
Yeah. Damon, how about you? How would you go next for your?
All right. Well, I don't think BioWare is closing. You know why? Because they need to release Mass Effect. Do you know why? Because I've been waiting for Mass Effect. Anyways, now that I got that out, I think Valve also will make some big splashes this year. They've been too quiet for too long, right? Whether it's another first party Steam Deck successor, I think we'll probably see that from Valve.
Mhm.
And I literally have a Half-Life 3 announcement written down right here.
Awesome.
I think just the announcement, yeah, like you said, Alex was a thing. And they're so sneaky and they're so secretive, right?
You literally get nothing out of them for
Yeah.
like years at a time, and then they just walk up on stage. Gabe walks up on stage. He's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what's up?"
And the
Half-Life
bonus,
3.
yeah, exactly. And the bonus surprise will be, we've already talked about this one, but the first party Game Pass on the Steam Deck. I mean, you can do it already. You have to do some stuff, and you got to do a little browser and do some stuff. But yeah, you can do it. But they'll just make it easier. And then,
that's awesome.
And then lastly, we're gonna see Hollow Knight 2, and I think it's gonna launch when the Switch 2 launches.
Oh,
Holy mackerel! Okay,
What a good place to play Hollow Knight 2 on would be on the Switch.
absolutely.
Good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Brent, why don't you give us some others? Your other predictions.
Well, I didn't write mine down because I was thinking about them, but funnily enough, we all seem to be focused around BioWare and Valve here. So, to touch on what Rob was saying, I don't think they'll close it down because there is talk of a new Mass Effect game, and I'm seriously looking forward to that becoming a reality. So we shall see. The other one is yes, I could totally agree with Damon here. I think they are going to throw down with maybe um, a slightly slimmer, lighter Steam Deck, something that's just as powerful, if not more, but a little bit more refinement on the technology, and something that's a little more palatable to like carry around with you and play games on, and just a Steam Deck too. Um, and yeah, they are definitely going to throw down with some kind of game. I've seen you know lots of chatter around that they are working on something, but you know, like was stated, it'll just be like, oh yeah, here you go, or there it is, kind of thing without any fanfare.
That is
Awesome.
what they
That's
do.
about all I
Yeah.
got.
Awesome. So, feel like we're defending BioWare a lot here now. Amazon actually has a Mass Effect TV show in the works right now too.
Yes.
So,
Right on.
but I mean that doesn't mean they don't shut down Edmonton because. But I mean, Edmonton is the home office where it all started. So
It is, and I mean, I really hope I'm wrong on that.
Yeah.
Like, this is not one I want to win
yeah.
because there's a lot of good memories with it being here, right?
Mhm.
It's,
Oh
yeah.
That's all you got, Brent? That's
Well, just as an extra point about Anthem, uh, there is a developer that's looking very deeply and in talks with to buy the IP and revitalize the game, supposedly in conjunction with Xbox.
oh
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm hoping that plays out because I mean, the core gameplay mechanic in Anthem is just sick. I mean, I really loved it. I actually went back and was playing a bit a few weeks ago. Um, the only thing they really needed to drop was, a little bit too much story, a little bit traversal around the main base, Fort Tarsus. A little bit too much traversal, too much interaction. They tried to, make it a Mass Effect, mech shooter kind of thing. That didn't fly, but I still think Anthem as a core game, even just generally as a looter shooter with maybe a bit more depth, would be awesome. Like it really, really would be. And again, like when we had discussed it a long time ago, yeah, I've been looking forward to Anthem for what, like 7 or 8 years it was in development. And so, yeah, I'm still kind of sad about it, but there are people that believe in it and are seriously looking towards rescuing it. So, we shall see.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've only got just two kind of quick ones. First off, I have the sale of Ubisoft finally goes through because it's
Sega?
to Sega.
Sega.
Sega buys Ubisoft.
And they start producing gacha machines.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's been long rumored that they've been kind of shopping themselves around, like looking for a way out, and I just read some other rumors that the delay of the latest Assassin's Creed might have been because of that. So
Right.
and the other one, I guess I could have done this one under Sony, but I have Half-Life Alyx comes to the PSVR too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm actually surprised it wasn't on there already. I think.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, some interesting predictions from everybody. Does anyone else have anything else they want to add that they might have thought of after we talked about the other ones or anything? Or
I can't jump on anything offhand.
Damon, I see the
No, I'm
gears.
good.
I see
No,
the
I'm good.
gears. Okay.
No, I'm good.
Well, all right, then we'll wrap this puppy up, and thank you for watching and or listening, depending how you checked us out. You can always reach us at makeusgrumpy@gmail.com. We love to get questions, comments, anything you want to send us. No nudes, though, please. No more nudes.
Maybe tasteful.
Okay, only tasteful nudes.
No.
Art.
And we're gonna resume the regular episodes here. I think in a couple weeks, hopefully. Our New Year's resolution is to at least get 10 episodes out this year.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Be amazing.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, now that 2020 is kind of over, yeah, hopefully we can get back to doing stuff on the regular, which would be awesome.
It's been over for 4 years, Brent. I hate to tell you.
Not in my books.
Yeah.
It's still going. Yeah.
We're going to make podcasting great again.
And on that note, good night, everybody.
Right.
Good night.